How's it going? Doing a little bit of lazy grinding today over at Shuriken Necropolis. I actually just finished up the potion piece for the Blood Wolves this week. So now I'm on to a new spot. And pretty much aside from yesterday, for the last 7 or so days, I have been taking quite a break from like BDO in general. I've just been like playing other games, and pretty much just queuing Arena of Solare. That's pretty much all I've done for the last like week. So my progress has slowed down quite a bit, but um, while playing a bunch of of Solare, it kind of gave me the idea for this video. Just kind of want to talk about the, I guess, rampant amount of toxicity that the PvP community has in this game. It's definitely not unique to BDO. This is something that you'll encounter in pretty much any game that you can interact with other players in some capacity. Like there will be somebody who is toxic or like does something that's toxic. So I will pull up my stats here in a second, but essentially I played like 37 matches of the ranked Arena of Solare, and then I've also played probably twice that in practice matches, just like with my guild mates and like other people or just by myself. And it is both a lot of fun and not fun at all, like at the same time. It's kind of a confusing experience to say the least, but um, with the very small player base, the amount of times where you queue up for a game and you get someone on your team who is either in voice chat or in the just like regular typing chat, the team chat, like they're just screaming at literally everyone, and like they spend the entire game just like typing and complaining or screaming or whatever. And it makes literally no sense because the toxicity is enough to completely turn some people off from like ever touching the game mode, who probably normally under like a regular circumstance would play something like Arena of Solare, but like with how like awful the community is, they like don't want to play, like for good reason obviously. Like they don't want to get flamed by some like random dude behind a computer screen who honestly in my experience isn't even that good anyways. And it's just, it baffles me because it's an already small community in terms of the like player base who will actually engage in PvP, especially something like a ranked or like rated PvP experience. That fraction of the player base is so small, and these people, because they like can't keep their mouth shut, or like I don't know, they struggle with like some sort of psychotic tendencies, they just like flame away a bunch of people who probably would like play that game mode, but they're just like killing off the game that they play because they can't control themselves, or they just have like some sort of like I don't know, mental illness. Honestly, is like the only thing you can really classify it as, because like these people will just sit there and scream and cry and complain, and like you don't even have to give them a response, and they will still just continue to go at it. And you take a break, and then you come back to the game in like 10-15 minutes, you queue up another match, and that same guy is on your team again, and before the match even starts, like he's already flaming in chat. And it's just like why? Like I can't even like logically come up with a reason as to like what the point is, aside from just the fact that like most of the time people just like want to feel important, I guess, or like feel like they are somebody. So to do that, they like talk down to other people, or like basically just like tell them they're trash and stuff like that. And it's like I guess I understand it on that front where they're like trying to like make themselves feel important, or like some person who I don't know is like good at a game, but like at the end of the day, like who actually cares? You know what I mean? And there's only like so much that you can do as an individual in terms of like how you deal with this sort of stuff. And you have the option to respond or not respond. And no matter what you do, honestly, the outcome is going to be the same for the other person generally. Like, generally speaking. So, like, if you have some guy flaming you and you say nothing, they'll probably just continue to flame you anyways. Um, but the response that you choose is it needs to be one that's fitting for you. Like, some people, when they encounter toxicity, they like to kind of fire back with some jokes. Um, or like just to make, I guess, light of the situation. So it's like kind of funny. And it like makes them feel better. And also just helps you like, I guess, just have it roll off instead of, I guess, taking it to heart. But I know for some people that's not really an option. And for those types of situations, if you are that kind of person where like toxicity really gets to you in that manner, then I would have an extremely hard time recommending Arena of Solare, um, unless you play with the chat turned off, which in itself will probably get you flamed, but like you won't see it because you know you will have the chat turned off. So then the only thing I guess is if they could whisper you, then you know they probably could and probably will whisper you with some garbage. But my advice is just to play it with the chat off. People will scream at you and like yell at you to get in the voice chat, but at the end of the day, just like you know, do what works for you. If that's what you have to do in order to have an enjoyable experience, and it's like actually enjoyable to you, then you know I don't see anything wrong with that. I have oftentimes been like met with some really toxic individuals and they'll scream at you to get in voice chat and just simply tell them like, yeah, no, I'm good, I'll pass. And it's kind of funny because you just watch them like tilt like off the edge into oblivion because you refuse to join voice chat to get screamed at by like some random guy. But you know, if you kind of just keep the lens of that, you just look at it through the lens that like they just want to feel like they're somebody important, and you just act in a way that doesn't give them that validation, and then you just take the course of action that works for you the best. That's pretty much all you can do. It's completely out of your hands. Like you can report them, um, I guess block them, mute them, whatever. But like chances are these people probably won't get punished because unless they say some like really out of pocket stuff, there's a very small chance that they'll actually get punished from what I understand. But you know, at the end of the day, it's a video game. If you like make a mistake and die, and some guy's gonna flame you for it, then you know, so be it. Um, that's just the nature, I guess, the reality of, I guess, somewhat competitive games. Even though I wouldn't necessarily consider this like a competitive game, but yeah. So the toxicity issue in this game, unfortunately, it is a large hindrance or like a barrier to entry. I can't wholeheartedly recommend Arena of Solare or really endgame PvP much at all to um, almost anyone, just because the community is absolutely horrid. But there are some people who are nice. They're pretty pleasant to play with, but unfortunately, they're somewhat few and far between. So um, you are a part of, I guess, the crowd that kind of contributing to this toxicity. Um, you know, you're just killing your own game, and I'm sure there's probably some more, I guess, root cause for it in your life. And I recommend that you seek help and try and figure out what it is that makes you so unhappy and Like, I don't know, just handle your stuff, man. Like, there's no need for it. There's no room for it. The player base is already a very small fraction of what it could or should be, and like you're just contributing to the downfall of the game that you play and somehow say you enjoy. But every single game that you queue up in ends up in a screaming match with some random people. But you know, you do you, and you're somebody who's looking to get away from that sort of toxicity. Um, Again, the only thing I can recommend for you is to either not play Arena of Solare, play with your chat off, mute these people, block them, report them, whatever. But yeah, it's just expect it, be ready for it. There's really not much that can be done, unfortunately. But you know, at the end of the day, I guess toxicity it begets more toxicity. So you can just not feed into it, then I think you'll be all right. But aside from that, that's pretty much all I wanted to make this video for. It's just a quick kind of update of where my head's at, where my thoughts are with, I guess, BDO, not necessarily as a whole, but in terms of PvP, because that is a major reason why I do play this game. But yeah, aside from that, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. So I will see you guys in the next video.